I feel like on today's show, we got a little down on Gen Z. And I just want to be super clear. Uh, I love you, Gen Z. I'm Gen X. My beef is with the millennials. I have nothing against you. I think you are our best hope for the future. John, on the other hand, has some issues. So we're going to talk about dumb people giving up their smartphones to go back to the old feature phones, or what they call the dumb phones. Fun episode. Also, an update on Peter. This dude is out of control. I don't know what's even going on with him. We thought he was going to be here today, and then he wasn't. So, at any rate, enjoy today's not so critical update. All right. I thought we were past this Peter thing. We just had him on. We were just talking to him. I don't know what's going on. We didn't even get an update about the MI5 or MI6 thing or whatever. He joined. It was super weird. He joined and he said, "Oh, sorry. I had the wrong time in my calendar." I won't attempt to do my impersonation of his British accent.
Calendar. Yeah, I don't know.
But then he's like, he said, "I had the wrong time in my calendar." We're like, it's now. You're here. It is the right time. And he pretended to be like driving through a tunnel or something and losing reception, but we were on Zoom, and then he just disconnected. It was crazy.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know what he's up to. I don't know what he's doing. He needs to get back here.
Lunatic.
Total crazy guy.
Yeah. Hopefully we get some clarity on this situation soon. Maybe he'll be with us tomorrow and we can finally like get a sense of what's going on. But man, this past week has been crazy. I don't even know what to say. At any rate, today we're going to talk about dumb phones. I feel like we've done this story before. Do you remember that? Have we done this, John?
Have we? Or are you having like deja vu?
I think we actually did, though, if I remember correctly. But basically the story is the rise of the popularity of dumb phones. Gen Z is trying to get off their smartphones, and go back to the feature phone days where you have to press numbers multiple times to create your text messages, and it just makes phone calls and maybe a camera and maybe an MP3 player.
This definitely feels like a non-article, but it is important to talk about. But it is a non-article. Like CNBC is like dumb phones on the rise. Like, okay.
They also point out on the rise means they expect the North American market to grow by 5% over 5 years.
So 1% a year is definitely on the rise. To me, that sounds like slight growth.
Right. It's going to increase marginally. Okay.
Yeah, marginal growth. Like, okay. Again, it kind of feels like they're sort of throwing shade on Gen Z here, saying we're too addicted to our fucking phones, so we need to be off of them with smartphone or with dumb phones. And it's like, okay, good for you. If that's the case, if that's the truth, you recognizing bad habits, trying to stop the habit by from further developing, purchasing a phone that doesn't have anything to do, so you just can't look at it. Like, you're not going to be looking at your dumb phone for as long as you are on TikTok. Coming from someone who had dumb phones for majority of their life, really. I got my first phone when I was, 8, 9. Like, it was, a hand-me-down. It had no cellular connection, and this thing was dumber than dumb, but it did have, like, Snake.
That's right.
Mike, another example of someone who watched the rise of cell phones occur.
I had a pager.
Yeah.
In my early 20s. I wasn't a drug dealer. I just had a pager.
Classic.
Yeah. And I wonder if it's actually even being driven by Gen Z. It could just be millennials buying them, like, ironically.
Also true. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having...
It's like a hipster accessory.
That's very true. It is super hipster to have a flip phone. Like, you can't get any more cringe than having a flip phone in 2023. But if you're doing it for like good reasons, like, again, you want to limit screen time, you want to read more, fair, totally fair. You can read on your fucking smartphone, but like, it's fine. It's fair. It's okay. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the wording in this article. It felt a bit mean. Like, yeah, what are your thoughts?
I like the idea of getting off the screen, not of getting off the smartphone. I think, watching TV and having the smartphone in front of you, checking every 5 minutes, even if you're having live conversation or trying to record a podcast, is just keep checking to see if you got any messages. Like, I see the problem with that. So just like leave your phone in your room, leave it in your office, leave it wherever. But at the same time, if my solution is this one of these dumb phones, just a phone, like what am I even going to do with that? What do I do? I don't call anybody on my smartphone, so why would I replace it with something that the only thing I can do is call people? So you could say, well, I can still text. Okay, but it's a shitty texting experience. If
Man,
that's what you want, just
I do miss the tactile feel of texting. You remember texting? I don't know if you ever got to
yeah,
this point, but we would text without looking.
yeah.
You
I
know,
do
we'd
kind of
hold
wish
our phones under the
Blackberries
desk.
had caught on a little bit
Oh,
more.
right.
That
Blackberries with the
hard
full
keyboard.
keyboard.
I
Yeah.
am terrible at soft keyboards just because I'm a boomer.
Yeah.
Don't know how they work. I'd
I mean,
send,
are you one of these, the index finger?
I,
Or do you use your thumbs at least?
I try to use my thumbs, but I just like, I cannot get it right. So I
Yeah.
do end up sometimes resorting to the index finger
Oof. Oof.
typing.
I think
My
it
kid
wouldn't
has
go
a
down
really
there.
interesting technique where they use a thumb on one hand, but then the index finger of the other. And that seems
I've
to be
seen
pretty
that.
fast.
Yeah. I do both if I'm like trying to speed text, but generally I'll use the phone with just
I
one
know.
hand, and do like that.
I
Or I
try
just
using
dox
both
myself.
thumbs,
I
but
don't
I
know.
make so many mistakes. It's disastrous. At any rate, yes, I wish that we had the hardware keyboards. Um, but if that's what you're looking for, then just uninstall your social media apps.
Yeah, for real. There are so many ways to keep the usefulness of a smartphone while not being on it all the time. Because they are so fucking useful. Like
Yep.
we have supercomputers in our pockets now connected to even stronger supercomputers
Yep.
that can be activated with my voice. I, I when I leave the house, just as an example, when I leave the house, my phone in my hand, I'm saying, hey, I don't want to say it because it'll trigger them. It'll trigger the phone, but like, hey, give me directions to this place. It's like, okay, no problem. I'm getting into the car. It's like, go take a fucking left.
Yeah.
Like,
Now,
the usefulness is so insane.
sure.
It's
But if
crazy.
if I really want to get away from even all that, and my only reason I need a phone is for like strict emergencies, I dial 911 or my wife calls me if she's dead in a car accident.
Sure.
Nothing else. Like, okay, fair enough. Just have a dumb phone. Somebody
Yeah.
who has to get in contact with you has a way to do that. You're not going to do anything else. Okay, I get that. Maybe you're an athlete. You're out, running a marathon, running a triathlon, and you need a phone in your
Mhm.
pocket in case you have to call for a pickup. Fair enough. But for anything else, I mean, just uninstall your social media apps.
Yeah, it is. It is a really weird. But like again, good for you, I guess. It's just very extreme and very roundabout and not very efficient and kind of a shit way to
Yeah.
do things, but it's fine. Like good for you for
If
doing
you want to be
this.
a dumbass and go through
Yeah,
all this, then have
exactly.
at it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with
Um
that. You're just
Nothing
stupid.
wrong with it. It is terribly stupid, but like good. Really that's great. We are going against the grain of
Yeah.
society's development, but
Now we're
sure.
gonna get a bunch of Gen Zers trying to punch out texts on their dumb phones to tell us
Yeah.
why we're wrong. Oh, they're not watching YouTube on it on their dumb phones though. We won't
No,
even
no,
hear from
no.
them. It's no problem.
They won't even know we exist. It's a win-win actually, now that I think about it. We are losing a potential demographic, but you want to keep punching on that fucking shitter
No,
keyboard. Just you keep
Gen
doing it.
Z
Do you?
is the only hope that any of us have, I believe, in terms of our
Fair.
future, global warming, economic future, social future. Like it's all riding on you, Gen Z. Please
Yeah, no
don't fail
pressure.
us.
No pressure, you
No
guys.
pressure, right?